The Ribble Valley has some truly amazing tourist attractions, and I'm at one of them, in the fabulous Forest of Bowland. This is Chris Bailey. Now Chris, how would you describe your business? What's its title?
It's Bowland Wild Boar Animal Park.
Right.
And as the title says, we have wild boar here and lots of other animals here.
Yeah, how did you come up with this idea of having a wildlife park?
Well, it was mainly my parents' idea, my father. My father's been a pig farmer for over 40 years.
Right.
I took over the family pig farm in the mid-90s and got to the late 90s, and pig farming, as all farms sort of went downhill and we were struggling to make any money. And
right.
So my dad actually got a few wild boar as a hobby to start off with.
Yeah.
He was sort of like going to start retiring. So we decided to diversify and put these wild boar in a little paddock and thought made a little car park and let people come down and view the wild boar.
Great idea. Are they easy to look after? Are they natural to this environment?
They are natural to this environment. They are pretty easy to look after, as in they're sort of left to their own devices. We feed them every morning with lots of waste vegetables that we get from the local supplier.
Right.
So we go in every morning with them and give them all the food. If you go in a different time of day when they're not used to it, they're very much routine animals. So if somebody goes in a different time of day, they're really spooked and they'll run away rather than actually run towards you and hurt you.
Yeah.
But if you corner them or they have young on them, they can be very aggressive.
Right, right. Because you hear these medieval stories of King Richard and King Henry actually hunting wild boar.
Yeah, well I think they will have hunted a wild boar around here years ago, 200-300 years ago, I'm not sure. But there's not many wild boar now in the wild in this country, I don't think.
So it's quite a unique business really, and obviously a big hit with tourists.
A big hit with tourists, yeah. I think wild boar are very unique, especially in Lancashire.
Right.
But we do have lots of other animals as well as the wild boars.
Yeah, I believe you've got some meerkats as well, haven't you?
We have meerkats, yeah, very popular from the advert, yeah.
Yeah.
The big hit of the meerkats, yeah.
Right. And are you planning on extending the park?
We're always trying to do something different, and we do have a lot of repeat visitors. So we're trying to get different animals in each year and extend the play area, or I mean at the moment now we're sort of 17 years in,
right,
and everything was pretty new when we first started, so things are starting to go downhill a bit, so we're having to repairing fences and that sort of thing, so that's where the money's going at the moment.
So Chris, do you remember that first year, what sort of visitors would you get and how many do you get nowadays in 2017?
The first year we've got a derelict barn just up here that we've converted into the cafe.
Yes.
That wasn't converted when we first opened in '99. We had a little car park. There was just a picnic bench and we'd had sat on it all weekend, and we've probably had 50 or 100 in the first year visitors.
Yes.
And as we've got more animals and we kept extending the car park, then we made the cafe, and now we're up to about 35,000 visitors a year.
So Chris, the park is obviously quite gorgeous really. Big hit with tourists, big hit with visitors, but I believe you also offer camping facilities. Can you try and explain that to me, please?
Yes, we have 5 camping pods.
Camping pods. What's a camping pod?
It's basically like camping without the tent.
Right.
So they are like wooden huts.
Yeah.
A bit like the glamping pods. There's nothing in the pods at all.
Right.
So like I say, just like camping without the tent.
Yeah.
Just a wooden floor.
Yeah.
There's no electric or anything there.
Right.
There is plugs in them, but we're not actually wired them up because we do struggle with electric.
Right.
As mentioned before, we do produce our own. But there's a toilet and shower block up there, which is quite nice.
How many people to each pod?
Between 4 and 5 in each pod, depending how. Probably you should get 4 adults.
Right.
Certainly 2 adults and 2 children comfortably. Yeah.
Ideal for fell walkers, people who don't know the Ribble Valley. A great base, lovely area.
Absolutely, yeah. And we have a cafe as well that we can come and have the lunch,
have breakfast as well. That sounds marvellous. All that fresh air, you're bound to get a real good appetite.
Yes, yeah.
Now, Chris, I've noticed you've got some solar panels here. I believe that you do create your own energy in some cases.
We do, yes. We've no mains electric down here at all.
No mains electric at all?
No, so we have a diesel generator.
Right.
And we do have the wind turbine and quite a lot of solar panels.
Yes.
The solar panels and wind turbine probably produce about half our electricity.
Right.
Especially on a day like today, the solar panels will be working quite well, and there's a bit of breeze. But in the dull days, in winter, they don't produce too much. But like the park's not as busy then, so there's not as much demand for electric then. So
yes, yeah. With regards to the wild boar, do they take a lot of care? Do they need a lot of attention, or are they quite self-sufficient creatures?
They are quite self-sufficient. They have little huts that we put lots of straw in them.
Right.
So yeah, they are best off us left alone really. As long as they've got lots of food, which we give them lots of waste vegetables. They munch away on that and they're quite happy.
Right. Have you any plans to extend the park?
Yeah, we'd like to keep updating things and getting some different animals. We have 30 acres of woodland, which we call an arboretum, which that were planted in the year 2000.
Yeah.
About 30,000 trees we planted, and I think there's about 600 or 700 different species of trees we've planted. So there's lots of footpaths through there. There's quite a steep hill up through the woods, and my dad's always wanted to put a big zip wire down the woods, you know, like one of these in the lakes and what have you. So
it's very much a hidden gem, and I can see a lot more potential here. You've got the River Hodder just down there, haven't you, really?
Yeah.
And this gorgeous woodland surrounding it.
Yeah.
And a lot more areas to expand.
Yes, there is. Yeah. And you know, we keep coming up with ideas, and we will think of some ideas and come up with something different. Yeah. But yeah, it is a hidden gem, and it is a little bit off the beaten track, but you know, you're only 15 minutes into Longridge and 30 minutes into Preston and 20 minutes into Clitheroe, so you know, it does seem longer when you're driving on the country roads, but we're not too far away really.
No. So Chris, would you prefer this to, shall we say, mainstream farming? Do you enjoy the Wild Boar Park more than, shall we say, working a full-time farm?
Difficult one, that really. I'd rather farm animals than people. Right. Animals that answer back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very tiring. You know, it's long days and hard work. But yeah, it is rewarding when the children are feeding animals and see little smiles on their faces. It is really rewarding, yeah.
And 35,000 visitors a year. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
That's all right, yeah. We could have more visitors, but it's very weather dependent here, as you can imagine. So on a wet day we can have between 50 and 100. On a nice sunny day, Sunday, we could have 400 or 500 people in the day. So it is really, you know, very weather dependent. But we do have a few things indoors. We have a straw barn play area. Yeah. All the sort of lamb feed and chick stroking is inside. So it's not all outdoors. Yeah. Do the children get a chance to interact sometimes with the animals in terms of feeding, etc.? They do, yeah. They can both feed the lambs and hold the baby chicks. Marvellous. And we do self-feed. They can go down and feed the goats and the llamas and alpacas and deer. Yeah. It must be great if you, shall we say, come from the city and you arrive here and you see animals at close quarters and realise that they don't all come from butchers and supermarkets. Yeah. Well, so, you know, we get some school visits and they come off the coach and the first thing they usually say, "Oh, it smells here," you know. Well, that's part of the countryside, isn't it? But yeah, when they look at the animals, they're like, oh, little faces really light up, and yeah, amazing, really. Absolutely fantastic. Well, I think you're doing a great job, Chris. We can have a good look around, and you've got a great business here. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. I'm joined by Hannah, the manager here at the Wild Boar Park. Hannah, pleasure to see you, dear. It must be a very, very busy day you've got here.
It is a busy day. From behind the scenes, we start at 7:30 in the morning.
7:30 in the morning?
Yeah, it's an early start. First thing we do is feed the lambs. Having lambs is quite seasonal, so we've got them for another month or so. But they arrive with us about the end of January. Right. So 7:30 we start feeding the lambs. Yes. And then we all head out onto the park. Some work inside, some work outside, feeding the rest of the animals that we've got here. So we've got alpaca, llama, goats. Llama as well? Yeah, we've got one male llama. We've also obviously got the wild boar. Yes. But we've also got red deer, goats, sheep, meerkats, skunks. We've just got some new animals called the coatimundi. Right. They're like a brown raccoon. And up the top near the ponds we've got ostrich, emu, ducks and geese. Absolutely fantastic. There's a wide, diverse amount of animals here to look at, really. Yeah, lots more than wild boar, really. Yeah. Yeah. When I arrived here, Hannah, there was a coach full of children, and they absolutely love the area. Yeah. Do you actually book them in the parties? I don't myself, it's Sharon in the office, she books them in, but this time of year we're having quite a few school groups, they come and they can get really interactive with the animals, so join in with public activities as well, so 11 o'clock is lamb feeding, and they can get really up close to the lambs, they hold the bottle to feed them so they can get up close. After that we do chick stroking like we would do with the public as well, and they get to hold a little chick and stroke it, so it's really hands-on for them.
It's absolutely marvellous, really. And of course, do you supervise all these visits? You stay with the children, make sure they're safe, and of course introduce each creature as well, of course.
Yeah, we like to explain what they can see. Some children come from quite urban areas, so for them the whole experience is incredible.
It must be incredible.
Yeah,
and surrounded by all this gorgeous countryside as well.
We're very lucky. It's all just here for us, but for them it's a world away sometimes from what they're used to. So I love educating them about all the animals and what we've got here, and answer any questions. We get all the weird and wonderful questions.
I'm sure. Hannah, is your background very much horticultural or agricultural, or
a bit of a mixture? I grew up on a dairy farm.
Right.
So this is it's kind of second nature for me really, to have the long days and the working with animals. I also spent 8 years doing events in Manchester.
Right.
So I've done the public side of things. Obviously I've got the knowledge about the animals and that, so it all fits together really well here.
And you put all those talents into the park.
That's it.
Which must be really, really beneficial.
Yeah, I did wonder for a while where my career was taking me, and then this opportunity came and I got the job and realised that it's all come together really well, so I really enjoy it. It's really
I think it's marvellous when someone really enjoys their job. And it seems very obvious to me, Hannah, that you love your job.
I do love my job,
That's absolutely marvellous.
Every day is different. You wake up not knowing who you're going to meet, what you're going to see. Are the animals? Does something happen overnight? Have we got a new arrival?
Right.
So every day is different.
Sometimes they get called out in the early hours of the morning to watch a new arrival or to supervise a new arrival.
Much like with dairy farming. If there's something going on, you need to check on something. You set your alarm and you get up and go and check on the animal, because if they need help, we're the ones to help them. So we're always really wary of what's going on with them.
I should imagine probably the local agricultural college take an interest as well with the students that want to learn from various breeds of animals.
That's it. We love doing the placement work with them. We work quite a lot with Myasco. We've got a couple of placement students here at the moment. We also work with local schools, and we get a week block of work experience students coming. We've actually got one guy, he's stayed with us, he's now got a part-time job at the weekends with us, so we work really well with the local educational facilities.
We did have a chat to Chris, the owner, and he mentioned 35,000 visitors a year. I can see that increasing, Hannah.
Hopefully, we like to keep different animals, try and get interest at different times. I mean, like I say, it's quite seasonal, and we do get more visitors at different times of the year. The summer holidays, Easter, and certain events like Christmas and Halloween, we do draw in more visitors.
Right.
And we like to put certain events on for them as well. So we'll get something different in, and we'll perhaps put something promotional on, do like a Halloween weekend and things like that. So we like to kind of mix it up a bit.
Well, I think you do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
In terms of tourism, the Ribble Valley must be very proud of you.
I think so, I mean, I only moved to this job in January, so I'm still finding my feet in the area, but a lot of people further afield have heard of us as well. I mean, my husband's from Darwin and they've heard of us.
Yes.
And, we're slowly getting the word out there, particularly on platforms like social media.
Because it is a unique package you offer, isn't it, really?
It is.
And I can understand why the children love it as well, really.
Yeah, it's something for everybody.
Yes.
Well, primarily for children, but we've got other things for grown-ups as well. I mean, we've got a lot of woodland walks. There's a Wild Boar walk as well.
Yes.
For children, we've got the play area and the hands-on animal things. But we do a Wild Boar walk at 11:30 and 2:30. We do a big tractor ride that's for adults and for children at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
Yeah. What's the Wild Boar walk like? Do you supervise that one?
I do, yes. It's guided, so we do stop along the way and talk about what we can see and inform people about the animals. But we walk through the wallabies and we have a look at Arthur. He's our albino wallaby.
Right.
He's really friendly. He's used to humans, so he'll come up and we feed him. And then we walk down by the river. We're lucky enough to be by the river Hodder, so it's
beautiful
down
river.
there.
Gorgeous river,
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Have any of the wild boars actually got names that you've named?
We do actually, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we've got, we had a big male called Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And we've got some females. We've got one of the breeding sows. She's called Mrs. Hippo because she loses all her hair in the summertime.
Right.
When she's bathing in the mud, she looks like a hippopotamus.
They're very, very well looked after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Hannah, I've got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
And you,
Thank you ever so much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.